Hey everybody, Belinda Sandor here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for coming. Today we're going to talk to Karen Zachary, who is not only probably the most curious and inquisitive woman I've ever met, and I say that in a really loving way, but just a star student in VA school. She just graduated, and I'd love to hear from you, Karen, where you were, where you are, and all of that.
Yeah. Well, I'm so excited to get to talk about this experience because it's just been awesome. So awesome. I was earning six figures working for a startup, and then I went to corporate, had a nice, comfortable job in a lovely office building in downtown San Francisco. And then COVID hit, and I worked for a commercial real estate firm, and there was no such thing as commercial real estate business at that point. It dropped off 98%. So reasonably so, I was laid off, and I was, pretty happy just being on unemployment and sheltering in place for a while. And, I am somebody that likes to learn and grow and push myself and always know what the next new thing is. And I have some friends that are small business owners, and the VA thing started sort of like rolling around my brain a little bit. And of course, you start Googling, and luckily enough, I found you right away and started paying attention to what you were saying. And of course, you give off, and everybody has said, you give off this really genuine vibe, and you're very free with the knowledge. And so I was already learning so much that when you started talking about VA school, I was like, I was scared to invest any money in myself because I didn't know what was going to go on with COVID. I didn't know what was going to go on with me. I didn't know if I would be interested in the VA thing once I learned more about it. But after doing the Kickstart Challenge, I was like, well, this is pretty fun. And I actually do have some skills that I can work into a VA career. And it just felt good. And it took me a minute to pull the trigger, but I did. And I could not be happier with that decision.
That's awesome. I went back and I was looking at the Facebook group that we had in the challenge, and I saw you with your coffee as I was planning the challenge this time. I'm like, there she was. She was right in front of me. Who knew that we were going to, end up, working together and getting to know each other. So that's really nice.
Yeah.
So what was the biggest aha for you? So here you are, you sign up, you're like, okay, let's do this. Both from being, starting a VA business and also from the course. Like, what are the things you didn't expect?
I did not expect to absorb so much information so quickly. I thought it would be more like technical and boring stuff about how to sync a calendar and stuff. And there is some of that, which is really useful and turned out to not be boring. But there's a lot of complexity and like nuance that I was excited to dig into. And in fact, I have my book of notes here. This is I'm really a digital person and typically take notes on screen, but in this case, I had you on my big screen, and so I was using paper notes. And I mean, I was just flipping through this morning, thinking about this discussion we were going to have, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's important. That's important. That's important. How to fire a client. How sometimes a client will come on and be heavy in the beginning and then taper off after they get some of their backlog taken care of. You can write off books and training. I mean, I could just flip through here and literally list 200 pieces that I learned in addition to the curriculum, just little things I picked up. And then we were learning from each other, which was so much fun. And that brainstorming and momentum. And I know some people have mentioned that meeting we had where we were like naming newsletters and stuff. It was just like the energy was unbelievable. And there were so many wonderful women in that class too. I mean, the VA industry, from what I can tell, or at least your VA circle, attracts a really special type of woman that wants to help, wants to solve. It's like, we're bouncing ideas and questions around all the time. And, Jillian knows Dubsado and Gina knows about healthcare. I mean, it's just like everybody has these things to bring to the table. It's wonderful.
I know. And I love that you guys really take to heart that there's no competition, because I can't imagine what this would be like, holding everything close to the vest and, well, I'm not going to show her my website. Instead it's like, okay, here's my website. This is a mess. What am I going to do? And what really touched me was we were on a call and Angela was struggling with, I think it was her newsletter. And just like that, you didn't even hesitate. And you just said, oh, I'm free after this. You want to jump on Zoom? I was like, oh my gosh. I love when you guys help each other. It's so great. It's
And
really,
she knows Excel. So I told her there may be a time where I'm calling you like, please, I can't remember how to do a pivot table.
oh my God. First, you have to explain to me what a pivot table is. Oh my gosh. Yeah. We all do have different expertise. And I've even seen it later on down the road where when VAs work together, then they hire each other. You know, there have been circumstances where people like Wendy needed someone, Wendy Gibson, she needed someone to do something. And, you know, she hired somebody, or the other way around. I don't remember, but there's just so much. So what about your lifestyle? So how does this all fit in, and what are you looking forward to?
Yeah, well, eventually I would really like to be a digital nomad. So I did some traveling after the startup and before the commercial real estate job. And I just had an aha moment on that trip. I went to Thailand and Spain and Paris, and I just realized I don't necessarily need to be in one place. I don't have a partner or pets or kids. And I like the idea of just really having the ability to be spontaneous and just be like, okay, well, maybe I'll do November in Milan.
Right.
I can do this work
You
anywhere.
can do that.
Even
I have friends that do that. They get an Airbnb and they're married, but their kids are grown. And whenever we go away, like we're going to go away here soon, I just throw. And I have monitors, and they come in boxes with handles, and I just throw one in, grab an HDMI cord. And just when we dropped Emily off to when she was on her way to Europe to study abroad, we stayed at Greg's brother's condo, and we were both on the dining room table because it wasn't like a vacation. It was more like driving her to the airport. And we took advantage of it, though. In the afternoons, we got our stuff done and went out to dinner in Georgetown, and went to the monuments and all the things. But yeah, it's great that you can do it anywhere. And now, because Greg has been tied to a desk for his entire life, he's not anymore because, we'd grab 2 monitors, throw it in the back. It's really great. Yeah.
And you can get great internet service now at an eco resort in Tulum, at a coffee shop in Chiang Mai. I mean, I've been so impressed with how these developing nations have adapted to digital nomad lifestyles. So
that's awesome.
I feel like the world's my oyster right now.
Oh, for sure. Did I talk to you about the hotspot?
Yes.
Okay, because I don't know where it is, probably in my purse, but those hotspots are amazing. They're really amazing. So if somebody's on the fence and they're afraid they're not going to get the investment out of it, what would you say? I mean, I know you're going to say do it, but because you were investing and you didn't know, and like how did that feel, and when did you feel like, oh, this is going to be okay?
After the first couple of study halls where it was like I had that energy, and you have a very calming presence, and like the coaching and cheerleading that you do was like the best kind of therapy.
Thank you.
I might start to get scared or wonder if I'll be able to get the higher pricing that I'm looking for. And after meeting with you and after a study hall, I just felt like it's going to be fine. I'm going to, I need to get my ducks in a row, but she's going to help me get my ducks aligned.
For your chickens, right?
It'll be okay. Yeah. It was just so useful. I mean, and I also just can't stress enough how much information I learned, and so much more than I expected to learn, and of a different type. So it was just, and the recorded information is there for a while. So it's not like there's
forever.
I mean, I didn't feel any pressure to dig through it, or like, I never felt overwhelmed with it. I just felt lucky about it. Like I just felt showered with it in a good way. And just having you say, oh yeah, I've had a terrible client that I needed to get rid of or something, made me feel like, okay, I know how to handle this problem now. Really, you talk us through every bit of it. You talk about how to keep track of your time, what to charge for and what not to, how to think about your pricing, how to, the debit card system is, next level anyway. And the importance of the, blogging and network and newsletter, and how you can sprinkle at different places, and building your network through sustained slow efforts with all the people that you know and meet. It is a wealth of information, and anybody would be lucky to be a part of it.
Thank you. Thank you for saying that. You know, it's funny because I have been in courses where you can tell the person who's training is like, well, that's over here, that's separate, and this is over there. And I remember being afraid that that was the right thing to do. And I also, you know, because this training people, I've been doing it for 3 years, but that's new in a 60-year-old body. You know, that's still kind of new. And this was the first time that I would taught like everything. And I remember where I was standing when I thought, you know, someone asked me a question. I was starting to get a little nervous, and I thought, oh no, you answer everything. This is good. And that was such a relief for me to feel like this is mine. I can do whatever I want, and this is how it's going to go. And
Yeah.
then from that point on, it was just like, oh, what do you need? What are we doing? Let's go. So,
Yeah. I also really appreciated how you were very patient with us if we needed something repeated, or if we needed, you know, we might be in module 5, but somebody has a challenge that gets covered in module 10. You didn't mind helping address what we needed in the time we needed it. And so that, you know, we could bring those things up in study hall and it was solved.
yeah, good.
Yeah.
I have to say, I miss you.
What did you do?
I do. Karen was always the first one there. She was in Zoom right up there in the corner, and she was always, you know, smiling and nodding and asking great questions. And so thank you so much for doing this. I really appreciate it. And it's just been a pleasure. And I'm glad that you're on your way. You've gotten so much out of it. And thank you. Thank
Yeah,
you.
my pleasure. And anybody that wants to reach out to me directly about questions, I'll be happy to help and answer.
Thank you. That would be awesome. All right. See